You already know that feeling. That rush when you hear about a stock that's supposedly about to explode. Your heart speeds up a little. You start doing the math in your head. What if I put in $1,000 and it triples? That would change things. That would actually change things. And so you buy it. And for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, you watch it climb. You feel like you finally figured something out, like you cracked the code everyone else missed. And then it drops. Not a little, it drops hard. And you sit there staring at your screen wondering what just happened, wondering if you made a mistake, wondering why this keeps happening to you specifically. Because you did the research, you watched the videos, you read the articles, you followed the accounts that seemed to know what they were talking about, and it still went wrong. Here's what nobody tells you about that cycle. It is not a strategy, it is gambling with extra steps. And the people selling you the excitement, the ones pointing at charts and whispering about the next big thing, they are not building wealth. They are building an audience. There is a massive difference. The real question is not which stock is going to pop next. The real question is, why are you still playing a game that has already cost you more than you want to admit? Before we go any further, if you are someone who is genuinely tired of watching your money go sideways and you want an actual framework for building real financial stability, we have a program linked down below in the video description. It is not for everyone. Honestly, if you love the thrill of chasing volatile stocks and you are completely satisfied with where your finances are right now, this probably is not for you. But if you are watching this and something in you knows that what you have been doing is not working, that link is worth a look. Now let us get into this properly. Think about what chasing hot stocks actually costs you, not just in money, in sleep, in relationships, in the mental energy you burn every single day refreshing apps, checking prices, reading through forums at midnight, trying to figure out if you should sell or hold or buy more. That is not investing. That is obsession. And obsession dressed up as investing is one of the most expensive habits a person can have. There is a version of you that sat down one day and decided you were going to be smart about money. You were going to make it work for you. You had a real intention behind it. Maybe you wanted to buy a house. Maybe you wanted to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you just wanted to feel like your future was more secure than it is right now. That intention was real. That goal was valid. And somewhere between that moment and where you are today, the hot stock machine hijacked your plan. It replaced your actual goal with the fantasy of a quick win. And the worst part? Every time you lose, you feel like the answer is just to be smarter next time. Pick better, research more, wait for the right moment, so you keep going, you keep chasing, and the hole either stays the same size or it gets a little bigger. Here is the pattern that ruins most people who try to invest on their own. They win once, maybe twice, and those wins feel incredible. The brain locks onto that feeling like a vice grip. Neuroscience actually shows us that unpredictable rewards, the kind where sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, create stronger compulsive behavior than consistent rewards do. That is the same mechanism behind slot machines. That is not a coincidence. That is a design. The volatility that feels exciting is the same volatility that is slowly draining you. Meanwhile, there are people building something completely different, quietly, without anyone making videos about it, without dramatic charts or urgent whispers about the next breakout. They are not flashy, they are not trending, they are just building, month by month, year by year. And the gap between them and everyone else is not intelligence. It is not luck, it is structure. Let me paint you a picture. Two people start with the same amount of money, same economic background, same income. Person one chases every hot tip that comes across their feed. They experience wild swings, huge highs that feel like genius, devastating lows that feel like failure. After 5 years, their net worth has barely moved because every gain eventually got wiped out by a loss or by the emotional decision to sell at the wrong time. Person two does something different. They are not exciting, they are not posting wins online, they are not part of any trending conversation. They pick a strategy built on consistency and they follow it without drama. After 5 years, their portfolio has compounded steadily, not explosively, but steadily. And the difference in total value is not small. It is the kind of difference that changes what is possible in your life. The dramatic part of this story is not the moment someone wins big on a hot stock. The dramatic part is 10 years later when one person has options and the other person does not. When one person can choose their life and the other person is still reacting to it. Now let us talk about why stability feels boring and why that feeling is a trap. Your brain is literally wired to seek novelty and avoid discomfort. Stability does not trigger the dopamine system the way a potential quick win does. So when someone tells you to invest in boring, consistent strategies, your brain actually registers that as less appealing, even if intellectually you know it is smarter. This is not a personal flaw. This is human biology working exactly as designed. But here is what changes everything. When you understand that the boredom is not the enemy, the boredom is the point, you start to see things differently. The investors who consistently build real wealth are not the ones with the best instincts for hot stocks. They are the ones who have learned to be profoundly unimpressed by excitement. They have built a quiet discipline that compounds over time the way interest compounds in an account. Every good decision stacks on top of the last one. Every calm choice in the face of market noise adds another layer to the foundation. And foundations do not crumble when something dramatic happens in the market. That is precisely what makes them so powerful. There is a concept that most people never learn because it is not exciting enough to go viral. It is the idea of protecting the downside. Every major financial educator, every serious wealth manager, every institution that has sustained wealth across decades will tell you the same thing. The goal is not to maximize the upside. The goal is to minimize the catastrophic downside. Because when you protect yourself from the big losses, the gains take care of themselves over time. But the internet does not show you that. The internet shows you the person who turned $500 into $50,000. It does not show you the 10,000 people who turned $50,000 into $500. That asymmetry in what gets shown to you is costing you real money right now. Think about the mental cost of this for a second. Imagine waking up every morning and the first thing you feel is a low-grade anxiety about whether your investments held overnight. That weight sits on your chest through your morning. It colors how you show up at work. It affects how present you are with the people you love. It hums in the background of every conversation you have, every meal, every quiet moment that should feel peaceful but does not. Because in the back of your mind something is always at risk, something is always uncertain, and you put it there. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine waking up and knowing that your money is working in a way that does not require your constant attention, that it is doing what it is supposed to do regardless of what the market does today or tomorrow. That you have a system, not a hope. That your financial future is not dependent on whether you pick the right stock at the right moment. Imagine what that does to your nervous system. Imagine how differently you would move through your days. That is not a fantasy. That is what actual financial stability feels like. And it is available to you. But it requires you to completely stop doing the thing that feels exciting and start doing the thing that feels boring but works. Here is what the transition actually looks like for most people who make it. It starts with honesty. Real, uncomfortable honesty about what has not been working. Not blame, not shame, just clarity. A clear-eyed look at the pattern and a decision to stop repeating it. That decision alone separates people who eventually build something from people who spend years in the same loop. Then it moves into structure, not tips, not predictions, not the next great strategy that someone on the internet is hyping this week. Actual structure. Principles that hold regardless of market conditions. A framework that does not depend on you being right about what is going to happen next week. Something repeatable. Something you can follow even when you are emotional, even when you are tempted, even when everyone around you is losing their minds over the latest opportunity. And then something interesting happens. The anxiety starts to quiet. Not immediately. Not overnight. But gradually, the constant background noise of financial stress starts to soften. Because you are no longer gambling. You are building. And building feels entirely different. Building feels like control. Building feels like your future is something you are participating in creating rather than something that is happening to you. The people who understand this talk about money completely differently. They are not excited about tomorrow. They are not chasing a feeling. They are watching something grow. Slowly, surely, powerfully. If everything we have talked about today has landed somewhere real for you, if you felt some version of yourself in the pain of chasing and losing, and if the idea of building something stable instead of gambling on something volatile genuinely appeals to you, do not wait on this. There is a program linked down below in the video description. It is built specifically for people who are done with the cycle and ready for a real approach. Not everyone who sees that link will take it seriously. Most people will watch this video, feel something shift inside them, and then go right back to the same habits within 24 hours because that is what most people do. But you are not watching this by accident. Something brought you here. And if that something is the part of you that knows it is time to stop playing games with your future, that link is your next step. The cost of waiting is not staying the same. The cost of waiting is another year of the same cycle. And you already know exactly what that feels like.